Talk to me nice, I get sensitive. Choice of your words to convey your intentions might mean the best, but it's in your approach and delivery. I get so through by my triggers, probably from niggas who thought that they owned me. Really consider that I do, you do, we do good on our own. Back on my throne, like yeah. Accept me at my worst, like you do my best. Better than I was last year. I've been facing tests, separate from the rest. Hope you're facing all your fears. I've been going so damn hard. It's been taking all this time. Giving up ain't in my blood. It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs. All in the signs. It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs. I'm so nice, everybody's type. Eyes on the clock of my demise. Don't you fall into the quicksand. It's better on the cement. Telling no story, no power in your past. Even if you're 30, gotta make it last. I do, you do, we do good on our own. Back on my throne, like yeah. Accept me at my worst, like you do my best. Better than I was last year. I've been facing tests, separate from the rest. Hope you're facing all your fears. I've been going so damn hard. It's been taking all this time. Giving up ain't in my blood. It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs. All in the signs. It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs. All coming It's all in the signs. It's all in the signs.
Greetings, 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 divine, all blessed, peace and love, joy and prosperity, honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. You are now tuned in live and always in archive at your leisure and convenience to another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo, Secrets and Recipes. Powered by, sponsored by, supported by NONVD, New Orleans National Voodoo Day. Please continue to visit us at www.voodooday.org for more updates and information about our third annual coming New Orleans National Voodoo Day 2026. And I'm certainly always grateful for your attendance and your support for this weeknight podcast at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time on a social media outlet near you. I'm thankful and grateful for the beloved Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, for her attention and always joining us here. Greetings, beloved. How you doing?
I'm fine. Greetings, everyone. Reggie, Elder, Nina, how everyone out there listening to this broadcast. I'm doing well. As usual, Elder Reggie gave me homework last night.
Yes, indeed. Greetings, Elder Reggie. Peace and blessings. How are you doing?
Yeah, peace divine, peace, Sister Toni. We good. We good. A little rain out here in the country, but other than that, we good.
Yes, indeed.
Well, Elder Reggie gave me some homework to find out how the cigars
Mm-hmm.
came to be in the rituals and ceremonies that we practice in Voodoo, Hoodoo, and other spiritualities. And this came about in his interest as to the twins and sinners with their relationship with the cigarettes they were sharing and everything, and one of them being named Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found out Ryan Coogler said he based the twins on the Orisha twins,
Mm.
Ibiji. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Ibiji, which is balance and duality.
Mm-hmm.
Ibechi.
Ibeji,
Ibechi. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And if you know their personalities, they were like good cop, bad cop.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke was the more I would want to say softer one. And Stack was all no nonsense, get straight to the point. I ain't taking no nonsense. Where you had the duality with Smoke, because he could be hard or he could be soft. We saw him be hard when he shot the two brothers for looking in his truck.
Mm-hmm.
And we could see him be soft when it came down to the older gentleman having the wooden nickels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in every aspect of everyone who uses cigars, cigarettes, cigarillos, even incense in their rituals, it is a belief that the smoke is a bridge between us and the divine.
Mm.
The Indians believed it was a bridge between humans and spiritual powers. They believed that the spirits liked the tobacco smell that came when it burned, and they would often leave offerings under trees of dried tobacco. Now we talking about real tobacco. We not talking about what we getting in these cigarettes now.
Mm-hmm.
We
Commercial
talking
cigarettes,
about
yeah.
Prince Albert in a can and how that smell was. And the rest of the world was introduced to tobacco from the Americas by trade ships. So
Mm-hmm.
it was introduced to Africa
Mm-hmm.
on basically, let's say, slave ships when
Mm-hmm.
they came back and forth bringing goods and human cargo. They also used tobacco in a tea farm. They boiled the leaves for medicine. And they would use the medicine for getting rid of intestinal worms, constipation. They also used it for antiseptics on cuts and injuries.
Mm.
They put the leaves in a wet poultice to put on burrs of the skin and rashes of the skin, the tobacco leaf. So it was a lot of uses. And they also, in the rituals, they mixed other herbs in with the tobacco to smoke in the rituals because those smells were liked by the ancestors and the spirits. Let's say the
Mm-hmm.
spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So it played a very important part because without the smoke, you could not get to the other side.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Sister
So,
Toni, that's beautiful research, and You add to my knowledge base with that. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, and I like to investigate things also. Um, the um, the cigarettes came into play. I guess you could say it constantly showed the brothers in a spiritual way of reaching to the other side when they were smoking.
Mm-hmm.
They was going to the other side in the movie, and that's what that was representing. So I remember as a child when we got stung by a bee, they used to say, quick, get some tobacco, spit on it, and stick it on a sting, and it would pull the stinger out. You remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do. And I also remember what maybe a baby from newborn to maybe 8 months, they would say blow the smoke in the crevice of the baby head
Yes.
to eradicate crib, that little flaking around the brain. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Blow smoke in a soft spot, we used to call it.
Yeah, that's
The
it.
soft spot.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it. I did it a lot to eliminate cradle cap.
That's it. Cradle cow. Couldn't think of the word, but that's it.
I
Yeah.
did that with my oldest kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
With my oldest kids, blow smoke. And it was also said to blow smoke in the top of the soft spot would make them sleepy.
That's right.
It would calm them. And I could see that because smoking a cigarette calms me when my nerves get really bad.
Mm. The things we learn, Sister Toni, the things we learn. Wow.
But you know what? When I be doing a research, this is a question I ask myself. And I don't know if y'all ask these same questions. Who was the first person that knew this?
Mm.
Who was the first person that knew the smoke was a bridge? Or was it like many centuries ago, the gods walked amongst us and taught us things like in that magical book? There was
Mm-hmm.
a time when God actually walked amongst the humans, and Jesus walked amongst the humans to tell us these things, and it was just passed on generation to generation.
Yeah.
Who was the first person to know burning tobacco leaf will get rid of worms? I'm just curious. I want to know, how did we get this knowledge? Now, I know they took books out the Bible, the 6 and 7 books of Moses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 2 books that give you the spells, the charms, the amulets to use to ward off evil, evil minions, the devil, whatever you want to call them. They took those books out the Bible, but those books weren't destroyed. And I had those books, and I actually used some. I was scared of the books, yeah. Because I didn't want to look at certain things and unleash something I ain't mean to unleash. So you can say I was kind of scared of the book, but some of the stuff that was easier, like the the spell written that you would on parchment paper that you would place in your wallet or coin purse to
Yeah.
bring you money, much like the lucky bean,
Yes.
that one. And I saw in there some things that had actually been in use in our communities before, like tying the red and black thread on our babies' feet
Mm-hmm. On the
or
ankle.
wrists.
Yes.
That's in there. So it appears that someone gave protective spells and knowledge to the Hebrews to ward off the attacks from demons and everything.
Mm.
And I wonder if that kind of like trickled down, the knowledge trickled down.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, I was scared of the book. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared of it. Even reading it, I was like, okay, I didn't want to utter the words out loud. I didn't want to think on them too long in my head. So I finally got to a part where I said, I can't read this. Cause I didn't want to let loose nothing. See, that's what I think we got all these problems, because people be letting loose things and they don't realize they be doing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you were speaking of the 6, 7 books of Moses. You were
Yeah.
talking about yeah, okay.
No,
Because
the 6 and 7
those are
books of Moses.
yeah, they're used in hoodoo, real prominent in hoodoo. Those books there. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of amulets and spells and stuff in there. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's going back to biblical days. So I was just thinking maybe these things that we know, such as the smoke crosses over, is a bridge to the other side. Maybe this knowledge came to us all the way from that time into the time when our people crossed the land bridge. The Hebrews crossed the land bridge and came here to what is known as the Americas and brought this knowledge with them.
Wow. Yeah, it's a
Well,
little
it's
over my
certainly a
head right
part
now.
of ancestral memory for sure. And we know that, humanity over time has, lost some degree of memory. People don't remember names and phone numbers and addresses and things today the way that they did when I was a child. And
They
we
don't.
didn't have gadgets and devices to, store that information in. But then there's also sort of that deliberate brainwashing and reprogramming that has also, manifest, over the years in humanity that has sought to erase and remove, sort of this knowledge and replace it with industries, whether it be the pharmaceutical industry or other industries of control. Um, we've been robbed systematically of our connection and access to the land, certainly to herbalism. But along with that, again, the memory, of the practice and attributes of said product and how we would have utilized them over time. Uh, we see a resurgence, as I said in the last podcast, of interest, in gardening and herbalism and just reconnecting, with the land. But I think at the DNA level, at the genetic level, we've lost some volumes of the book.
Ty, you said when we were children and remembered, in 2005, we knew at least 10 phone numbers by heart, addresses by heart, and I couldn't tell you none of that in 2024. That's how quickly we forget knowledge when we let a gap in using it come about.
And it's interesting you chose 2005 because, that's the year of Hurricane Katrina. So,
And that's the year when mostly everybody from New Orleans got a cell phone
mhm.
for the first time, including myself. So technology came in. I didn't
Well,
have a cell
smartphone.
phone.
Well, smartphone. We had Androids, but
We
the
had flip
smartphone didn't.
phones.
Yeah.
We had flip phones. I got my first phone for free in Texas. They was giving them away to Katrina evacuees. My first cell phone. All up until then, we had landlines mostly, and beepers at the most. And then on your beeper, you can look at a phone number and know who that was because you remembered your mama, your sister, your Uncle Dave, your grandma's phone number. So when you looked at the beeper, you can say, oh, that's my grandma calling. But our memories of that time have really been erased. I mean, the only address I can remember out of all the places I stayed, the numerical address without looking it up is 5006 North Galvez.
5006. Wow. I know what that's
That's the only thing I remember. I can't tell you the address where I lived after that and nowhere else. I've forgotten all of that because I hadn't used it. I hadn't needed it. And that's what I think happened with our collective memory on all of these things we should be knowing about, what herbs, what plants, because it was passed down and we forgot it.
Ooh, and then there's just the distractions. There's just so many more distractions today that people are learning how to overcome and transcend that did not exist 20 years ago.
Yes. Yes. Like, how many people really read books anymore?
Right.
Well,
How many people really read books anymore?
It's so easy to just Google everything, and so that's what people do.
Yes.
They're reading books. Yeah. You know, speaking of books, I remember how Amazon first come online with books. I had never heard of nothing called Amazon. But when they came on, it was a good product at the right time. And it skyrocketed for them.
Yeah.
You know, offering books. You could get books that was out of print. Books was hard to find. And for some reason, Amazon was able to get you those books.
Yeah. And that's one thing I was blessed with. And I guess you too, Divine Prince. We worked at night on boring ships. So we had hours upon hours of time to read.
Yeah.
I mean, I read 8 hours a night, every night, because I worked 2.5 jobs most of the time for years. For years.
You know, reading sharpens the mind. It quickens the eyes, dexterity. So it has its benefit. And when people are not using it anymore, once again, they're losing a part of who they really are. Because they say if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes. So in some ways, technology has helped us, but I think it has hurt us in more ways.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Technology, period. I mean, kids today can't even tell time on a regular clock. They have to have digital. And I remember when I was young, I could tell time by the shadow in my alley of my house. I could tell you when Gilligan Island was coming on for me to leave out the front yard and go inside and watch TV just from looking at the shadow on the ground. My own makeshift sundial.
But we still breathed air. We still played outside. We still, had our feet in the dirt. We still had a connection, to nature and to earth. Still.
So we really need to get back to connecting in the earth to be grounded, even if it's simply walking outside in your grassy front yard barefooted, standing there of sitting in your front yard in the grass, barefooted, and just let your feet touch the earth and the grass. That's an easy way of grounding yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have very few places here in the city where we can go and put our feet in natural running water.
Mm.
And natural running water, not the swimming pool. But
You mean like Mississippi River or Lake
yes,
Punch?
like the river, the lake,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, honestly, the way things going, I wouldn't be putting my foot in no water, not even a big pothole, the way alligators coming up in the city right now.
Yes, indeed.
Somebody hit a big alligator on Reed Boulevard
Wow.
with a car.
Mm.
I mean, the river high, the water's high, the alligators are going everywhere. But I mean, that's another way to connect. And if you're in an area where you can put your foot on a beach, walk in the water until you feel comfortable to reconnect, say a prayer, blow some smoke, sit in your front yard if you can and smoke a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
To
Sit in your
reconnect.
front yard if you can.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. I mean that reconnect. I mean, even if you could sit outside in the moonlight in your backyard in the moonlight, that's another way of reconnecting. Especially on the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
But we have gotten away from our connections to nature in this concrete jungle.
Oh, I agree. But at the same time, there's like not many places you can go to resurge back to just the nostalgia of it all. Everything is steady moving faster and forward, but leaving so many good treasures behind. And so, how do we do it as a collective?
Well, I guess we have to be the librarians
Mm-hmm.
to hold the knowledge, to hold the rituals. Because remember, it's my firm belief that when the lights go out, technology gone.
Yes. Yes.
And if they gone out too long, people gonna need this.
Yes.
You always have to have the historians. So those of us that know and believe have to just keep collecting and
Mm-hmm.
try to pass it on to someone younger who is truly interested, because they are out there. They're in our listening audience right now.
Mm-hmm.
To
And by
pass
all
it
means,
on.
plant something in a pot, in a bucket, in a box, in the ground, plant something. Reaffirm your
Yes.
connection to nature.
And don't just plant something decorative. Plant something useful.
Mm.
Something you could eat or something that's medicinal.
Mm.
Something that keep the insects away. Just,
Yes, that's medicinal. Because when they see me coming, they say smorgasbord. They at the buffet.
Mm.
Yes. Something you can make a tea with. Something you can put in your tea, as simple as peppermint plant, a mint plant.
Mm.
Something that's don't need much care and easy to grow.
Lemon balm,
Yes,
lemon verbena, rosemary. Rosemary makes delicious tea, as well as it's
yes.
great for cooking as well as root work.
But I'm quite sure for every generation, technology posed a problem. I mean, what we grew up with, we got to remember was technology to another generation that didn't have that.
That is so true.
So our ancestors faced similar trials like this. Maybe not as fast as this, but they still face them. And the simple fact that we still know about it shows that it managed to survive their technology threat, meaning ours will survive this one too.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be as diligent as they are.
And
Well,
actual
as
stewards of the
diligent as
knowledge,
they were.
stewards of the information,
Yes,
and lead by demonstration. It's one
yes,
thing to talk about it, but you know,
yes,
some of y'all got acreage and you're not growing anything usable on it.
yeah. Reconnect. Remember, they say all babies born are born with all the knowledge they need to know,
Mm.
but we take it from them by not allowing them to do what they know how to do.
So the information is already there. It's just a recall, like remembering and recalling it, bringing it forward.
Well,
Yes,
ancestral memory survives in the blood, so it's a
Sure.
reactivation of what we know. It's a remembrance, if you will, of what we have always known and understood, and continue to pass that information from generation to generation. But I certainly
well,
appreciate everyone coming in and being present for tonight's show. I certainly look forward to meeting you again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time for more revolutionary hoodoo, New Orleans voodoo secrets and recipes, Voodoo Hoodoo 101, if you will. We certainly want to continue our conversation about plants, the herbs, the roots, their usage and purposes, both then and now, and how to grow and propagate and share these plants, these herbs, and in many cases, heirloom plants, which are those, live plants, live cuttings that continue to get passed from person to person, generation to generation, and keep certain varieties of plants and foods, alive, like our heirloom tomatoes and many other uh, delicacies of the kitchen that we can produce in our lawns, in our yards, and in our gardens. So I appreciate you, Queen Mother Toni, for all of your experience and research. Thank you so much, Elder Reggie, for your
Mm-hmm.
time and commitment to the platform. Thank you for those who continue to show up and participate by way of our live chat. Thank you, Nina Lloyd. And thank you. Greetings, Kwame. John, thank you for showing up with us. We look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, remembering that all is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils. And no matter what you do, respect the voodoo. Odabo and good night.
Dabo. Peace,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Ashe. Peace.
Peace.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
I am the Divine Prince, Tai Emmecca, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, Advisor, Elagoon Oloye Hoodoo Obeya Bokur. I reside in this beautiful and legendary, historic Treme, New Orleans, Louisiana. So join me as I share food, music, culture, tradition, the rhythms and the flavor of New Orleans voodoo. Respect the voodoo.